The atmosphere at the decrepit gas station felt suffocating and thick, as though it had been imprisoned there for days beneath the scorching summer sun. Vanessa M.O. positioned herself beside pump number 4, her green cotton shirt clinging to her spine with perspiration, a persistent throb pounding at her temples from yet another sleepless night of anxiety. More complications were the absolute last thing she could handle. Her rent payment was overdue, her second shift at the restaurant scarcely covered the utility bills, and her mother's prescription costs consumed every extra dollar she managed to collect. She had just retrieved her final $20 bill from her pocket, preparing to purchase a half-tank to last her through the week, when a harsh voice yanked her focus to the side. "Listen, man," snarled a towering biker with forearms like oak branches and ink designs spreading up to his collar. "I already told you I left my billfold at the garage. Just give me a gallon. I'll return later." His vest, a weathered black leather cut, prominently displayed Hell's Angels. His hair, secured in a careless ponytail, drifted in the slight wind, and a deep frown compressed his features into a rigid mask. The gas station clerk, a clean-shaven young man named Ryan, remained rigid as a post. "No payment, no fuel," Ryan reiterated firmly. "Company policy. My apologies." The biker's jaw tightened. He appeared prepared to tear the pump apart. But something in his gaze made Vanessa freeze. It wasn't fury. It was exasperation. Humiliation. The expression of someone trapped in a corner, degraded, perhaps even mortified. Vanessa could have remained uninvolved. Nobody would fault her. A Hell's Angel. She ought to be fleeing in the opposite direction. But her father, may he rest in peace, had always instructed her to see the individual, not the stereotype. She moved forward, suppressing the constriction in her throat. "I can pay for it," she informed Ryan. Both men pivoted to face her. The biker's eyes widened, piercing blue, yet somehow exposed. Ryan scowled. "Ma'am?" Vanessa acknowledged him with a nod, extending her $20. "Put $20 in his tank." The biker raised a hand, bewildered. "Lady, you don't even recognize me." Vanessa offered a small, weary smile. "You seem like you could use some relief." "It's only gasoline." Ryan paused, then released a sigh and accepted the bill. He activated the pump to dispense, and the biker released a prolonged breath as though attempting to compose himself. When the tank signaled completion, he approached, looming over Vanessa. "Name's Mark," he announced roughly. "Vanessa," she responded. Mark studied her features, searching for an ulterior motive or deception, but discovered nothing. Simply a woman barely surviving who still elected to assist him. He gave a single, profound nod. "You're an exceptional one, Vanessa," he rumbled, then brought his motorcycle to life with a thunderous roar, cast a final glance backward, and departed toward the interstate. Vanessa exhaled, her hands trembling slightly. That $20 was intended to fuel her vehicle for the entire week, but her spirit felt buoyant. Perhaps that held greater value. The following day arrived like all the others. Vanessa completed a morning rotation at the restaurant, changed her mother's dressings, attempted to maintain her existence by fragile threads. Just as she began preparing dinner, rice and a tin of beans, an unusual sound vibrated the window. It was a profound rumble, substantial, intensifying. Her heartbeat accelerated. She approached the window and became motionless. Motorcycles, scores of them. Massive Harleys occupied the entire block. Engines idling. Leather vests everywhere. The crimson and white Hell's Angels insignias burned like banners. Men and women sat astride their bikes, soundless, gazing at her residence. Vanessa nearly let the spoon slip from her grasp. "Mama," she summoned, "remain inside." The front entrance rattled with a knock so forceful it practically trembled the hinges. Vanessa compelled herself to answer it. There in the twilight stood Mark, the biker from the previous day, appearing even more imposing on foot than she recalled. "Vanessa," he rumbled, voice controlled but grave. "May we enter?" She swallowed hard, nodded, and retreated. Mark raised a hand and gestured to the others. One after another, bikers dismounted their Harleys, transporting boxes, equipment, sacks of groceries. Vanessa remained there, astonished, as they proceeded into her modest yard. Mark indicated toward the flaking paint on her residence, the drooping gutter, the unstable front step. "You assisted me when nobody else would," he conveyed to her. "Our family doesn't disregard that." She blinked without words. In a coordinated rhythm, the crew commenced working. One repairing the unstable planks on her porch. Another sealing the dripping pipe beside the house. Two more scraping aged paint and recoating the faded exterior. A woman wearing braids with a smaller Hells Angels patch presented Vanessa with a box of fresh provisions. Eggs, dairy, produce, even poultry, items she hadn't been capable of purchasing for weeks. Vanessa felt moisture burn behind her eyelids. "I'm unable to compensate you for this," she stammered. Mark shook his head, his expression mellowing. "You already have. You recognized me as a human being. That's sufficient." A biker named Jack knelt beside her deteriorated garden hose and reconnected it, then began irrigating the parched flower beds. Another young prospect removed Vanessa's garbage. Someone even offered her mother a courteous acknowledgement through the window, inquiring if she required anything. Vanessa had to lower herself onto the porch, overcome. All this stemming from a $20 tank of fuel. Mark crouched beside her, a massive hand resting on his knee, appearing awkwardly tender. "Nobody typically does what you did," he murmured quietly. "They observe the leather, the insignia, and they regard us as beasts. You didn't." Vanessa's voice wavered. "My daddy always instructed me, you assist someone if you're able." Mark nodded as though that clarified everything. "Then your daddy raised you properly," he answered. They labored until the street lamps illuminated, repairing, transporting, tidying, leaving Vanessa's modest house completely transformed. When they concluded, Mark presented Vanessa with a small brown envelope. "The club collected some funds. Use it for your mom's medications perhaps." Vanessa declined with a head shake, but he enclosed her hand around it resolutely. "Accept it," he insisted. The engines roared to life as the angels assembled to depart, and neighbors observed from their windows, attempting to comprehend it. Mark offered her a final nod, eyes compassionate. "If you ever require us," he stated, "you understand who to contact." Vanessa stood on the porch, clutching the envelope against her chest, tears cascading down her face as the bikes thundered away into the darkness. In that instant, she grasped what her father had communicated all those years before. You assist because it's moral, not because it's secure. And occasionally, when you extend kindness to a stranger, the universe returns more than you ever conceived possible.